Welcome back, Truth Seeker. One of the breaking headlines in the last hour and a half: a Ukrainian actress, Oksana Shvets, killed in Russian rocket attack. And this is coming Thursday, March 17th, 2022. What I'm going to show you is why this is more than likely a major lie. And a rocket attack probably had absolutely nothing to do with this woman's death, assuming she is dead as reported. But I'm going to show you something that's truly amazing. But first, we're just going to read the reporting. We're going to read the reporting. If you're a veteran here, there'll be something that jumps out to you right away. If you're new here, probably won't stand it out at all, but we'll make it real clear in just a moment. So it says, Revered Ukrainian actress Oksana Shvets has been killed in a Russian rocket attack on a residential building in Kyiv, according to the Young Theater, where she was part of the troupe. She was reportedly 67. Keep in mind, today's the 76th day of the year. And as we'll get to, she made her acting debut on the day leaving 76 days left in the year in 1976. And there's even more to it. Shvets worked in the theater and film for decades, and her efforts garnered one of Ukraine's highest honors, the title of which roughly translates to Honored Artist of Ukraine. It is also sometimes inartfully expressed in English as Well-Deserved Artist. Whatever the case, the honor is only bestowed upon those among the country's most accomplished performing artists. In its announcement, the Young Theater expressed unrepairable grief at Shvets' passing before describing how the actress died. During the rocket shelling of a residential building in Kyiv, the statement reads, a well-deserved artist of Ukraine, Oksana Shvets, was killed. And this is the post, obviously not written in English, so you got to take the translator's word for it. But this is being published everywhere in mainstream media right now. Everyone's using the same report, same details. Shvets was reportedly born on February 10th. 1955. Get back to that date. Something should stand out to the veterans already in a big way. She graduated from the theater studio at the Ivan Franko Theater and the Kyiv State Institute of Theater Arts. In addition to her time with the Young Theater, Shvets had worked at the Ternopil Music and Drama Theater and the Kyiv Theater of Satire. The English-language Kyiv Post also confirmed her death. And again, this one's posted at 8:44 a.m. That's where I am in the world, so it'd be different in where they are. Again, I'm on the West Coast. If you've never noticed that about anything Twitter, it posts according to your time zone, what time it was posted in your time zone. So 8:44 a.m., March 17th, West Coast of the United States. And now, again, if you're new here, you apply the language of Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, and you go back and you look at what's been done here, it's unmistakable. And with regards to her dying at 67, this is a pattern that we've talked about for 9 years. This has been one of the most blatant patterns. This is the death of celebrities in connection to the number 67. It's because in Gematria, blood sacrifice and human sacrifice are 67. It's a number of killing. And also in Gematria, satanic and soul are 67. If you're new here, satanic equals 67 like soul when you use the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, so on. Blood sacrifice and human sacrifice equals 67 when you use the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So, again and again, this number connected to death. Keep in mind she was born on a date with 67 numerology. Dead at 67. And for the veterans, if you do the full date numerology, it's 86. We'll talk more about that number in a moment. Ukraine had the big Chernobyl scare in 86. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, where blood sacrifice and human sacrifice are both 67, in reverse, they both equal 86. The day she was born had 67 and 86 date numerology, ends up dying at 67. And we'll talk about her connection to the theater in 86 in just a moment. But that birthday, 10/2 like 102, we've been talking about this number more than any other in the time of what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, reportedly in the news. And again, this number 102, actually, before we even get into the 102 thing, we'll come right back to it. Before we do, just right here, the theater that she was a part of, where she got her education, her acting credentials, Notice that theater was established in 1920, 102 years ago. And again, the day she's born can be 10/2 like 102. But the full name of the theater, the Ivan Franko National Academic Drama Theater, that full name is 383, which is the 76th prime number. She's dead at 67 on the 76th day of the year, against March 17th. And her first film, well, it was actually a short series, but it debuted in 1976, and on the date October 16th, which is the day leaving 76 days left in the year. So just think about that. 1976, the day leaving 76 days left in the year, ends up dying on the 76th day of the year. And what do we know about 76? Big number with the word tiger. It's the year of the tiger. There's been a lot of rituals with 76 this year in the year of the tiger. If you're new here, you don't know that because you're new here, but this is something we've been documenting over and over. 76 in the year of the tiger. And I was trying to get more information on the film, but there's a remake of the show, that came out in 2015, because it was a show that she was in, a 5-part show. They made it into a movie in 2015, and it's about exposing the church. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, exposing the church. Interesting. Isn't that what we've been showing the whole time? That it's the Catholic Church and the Jesuits and the Superior General that all this is synced up with? Again, in Gematria, Art of War equals 102 like World War is 102. The theater that she's educated at was established 102 years ago. She's born on 10/2 like 102. The text Art of War, translated by the Jesuit priest Father Amiot. Again, this is the book where all these rituals are encoded. And that's why this conflict in Ukraine began 102 days from the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuits. And it's why Biden days later gave the latest State of the Union in U.S. history on his 102nd day of his age that lasted for an hour and 2 minutes. And it's why this number's been used all throughout history to instigate war all over the world where the Jesuits operate, which is worldwide. They are the New World Order. They are the cabal. They're the reason we're speaking English. They're the reason we're on the Gregorian calendar. And don't forget, the military conflict officially started on the anniversary of the French Revolution, or not the Russian Revolution on the Julian calendar. And again, it was that revolution that ended up, in the events of World War, that ended up, getting them on the same Catholic calendar that everybody's now on, the Gregorian calendar. But okay, so 102, we've just been talking about it so much. There was even Activision put out the video game Call of Duty Warzone, where the word Warzone is 102, like World War, like Art of War. Warzone, set in a fictional Ukraine, came out exactly 102 weeks before the military conflict began in Ukraine. Because again, we're living out a planned agenda. The Jesuits have scripted history, their story, and we're living it out. But just for more, I thought I better look into when I started to see all this, I was like, I got to look into the man that this theater's named after. I'm sure there's even more here. And, of course, there was. This man died during World War I, 1916. And we'll get to the day May 28th, because we talked about this day a couple weeks back and why this day is very concerning, the day of this conjunction with Earth, Jupiter, and Mars. And remember, Thursday is named after Jupiter. And this is happening on a Thursday. But we have this big conjunction coming up on May 28th this year. And again, if you missed my video on how we figured this out, we'll touch on that. But it's that May 28th day. Again, he died during World War I. And he died 86 years ago. Wait a minute. Did I do bad math? I'm tripping. He died 106 years ago. I take it back. He didn't die 86 years ago. He died 106 years ago, but his name is 86. Ivan Yakovlevich Franko, or however you say it. 86, Chernobyl in 86. And remember, we were looking at Chernobyl when we figured out the May 28th day thing. Where are they going with this narrative? But, yeah, rather than weigh you down in too many numbers, just remember, the Jesuits created the Order of Illuminati, first known as the Bavarian Illuminati, May 1st, 1776. 76. Adam Weishaupt. The name of this theater, the shortened, abbreviated way, has Illuminati written all over it. And again, the Illuminati controls the things that control the minds, like the films, the theater, the entertainment, the news, the politics, the music. They built the world around us. And the theater that put out her death today, the information about her death, couldn't help but notice they were established in 79. Remember, Ukraine equals 79. The military conflict popped off in Ukraine 79 days before Israel's upcoming birthday, because they're making a big parallel with this to Zionism and Judaism and Zelensky, the Jewish president, former actor. Remember, he made his big appeal to the U.S. Congress yesterday, Knesset in Israel yesterday, today to Germany, saying he needs military support from these powerhouses. But remember, Ukraine equals 79. This theater established in 79. Remember, interest rates up, inflation rates up 7.9%, largely blamed on Ukraine in the U.S. That was the headline last week. But the date it was established, December 14th, this significant date all throughout history, from George Washington's unsuspecting death to the Sandy Hook shooting to the coronavirus vaccine going live to Kobe passing Jordan. Just December 14th, that date that comes up again and again. This theater that puts out her cause of death established on that day of all days. Here in the U.S., we had the Sandy Hook shooting that day, and then we had Sandy Lindsay get the first COVID shot on that same day on the 8-year anniversary. Different type of shot. This is a different type of shot, too, supposedly a rocket. Just happened to take out the lady in the perfect ritual. From the December 14th anniversary, for the record, to today is 93 days later. Huge number with the Illuminati again, because that's who this is. The Jesuits are the Illuminati. They say the sun's 93 million miles away. Order of Illuminati, 93. And big number with the Alec Baldwin killing of the Ukrainian woman in the church shootout scene. The movie she was in, or the show she was in, was about exposing the church. I mean, they're just putting it in our face, you guys. Ugh, I hate the way they get away with it. If you want to read my post at Gematria Effect News, there's definitely even more information. This is the second notable actor death in Ukraine that's been reported. The other was a 33-year-old, another suspicious number around celebrity death throughout history. Not as bad as 67, but 33's, so often everywhere. In this case, it was an actor who died on Sunday. Can you learn Gematria? You just see. Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot. We were talking about this woman equaling 67. Look at what I noticed about Pasha Lee. Pasha Lee equals 67, like human sacrifice, like blood sacrifice. This woman's dead. And what's it compared to? Her death follows that of beloved Ukrainian actor and TV host Pasha Lee, whose name is also 67. And again, Gematria, guys, very simple. Alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with numerology. Pasha Lee, 67 in the most simple cipher. We're talking about how blood sacrifice is 67, forwards 86 in reverse, just like human sacrifice. And again, the woman who's dead, born on a state with numerology of 67 and 86. So, with regards to the theater being named after the man who died on May 28th, what got us looking at that date is, what got us looking at it was Andre 3000. Wait a minute. What did I just see with... hold on. Was that man born on August 27th? That man was born on August 27th. Okay. The reason that's wild is because, again, this... this Outkast album came out August 27th in history. A.T. Alien's famous album that put this hip-hop duo on the group. Andre 3000 has a lyric on there about Chernobyl. And I just woke up with this, thinking about this one day, and I decided I better look at it. And what blew me away is that, we got the news of Russia taking Chernobyl and then them capturing 92 hostages. And this news broke on the military conflict day, February 24th. The news broke 92 days before Andre 3000's birthday. And again, the story about the 92 hostages that came with it. And uranium is 92, the fuel in nuclear energy, right? Atomic number 92. And, there were a number of other things we were talking about with this, looking back at the Manhattan Project and the fact that Manhattan equals 92, the Manhattan Project to develop this energy. And so we were saying that his song, Andre 3000's song, where he's talking about me and everything around me is unstable like Chernobyl, what was curious about is the chorus goes planets and stars, Earth, Jupiter, Mars. And Earth, Jupiter, and Mars are having this conjunction on May 28th, the day after Andre 3000's 47th birthday, which this ritual synced up with. And again, Ukrainian time is 47, and all of this stuff is rituals and time. That's what when you study this knowledge, you see how patient the Jesuits are, how well planned they are. I mean, it's things like they likely did open this theater in 1920 with the script written for what would happen 102 years later to this theater. These are the people who coined the term theater of war. And if you think that's stupid, again, what did I just point out? I just pointed out even more about the history of the art of war. The most English translations of this book are 68 pages, and the longest chapter in any translation is 68 paragraphs. And it's a huge number with World War history. And remember, the letter about the 3 world wars to come, written by Albert Pike to Mazzini, the leader of the Illuminati, was dated August 15th, 1534. August 15th, 1534 is the day the Jesuit order was created. Again, the Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Mazzini was the second leader after Weishaupt. But August 15th, 1871 is the date the letter was penned about 3 world wars. And, I mean, you think about it, that's, 43 years before the first one started. 42 years and months to be exact. And World War's 42, War Alone's 42, Jesuits 42, Freemasons 42. Pike was a Mason, and Mazzini was a Jesuit, and just like Adam Weishaupt. And don't forget, here in the U.S., the Jesuit stronghold, Washington, D.C., where the Jesuits have been longer than the federal government, the first Jesuit universities there named after a Freemason, the Jesuits and the Masons, sharing the motto at the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite, Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo, America 32, Scottish 32, 7/4/1776, 32 date numerology. Anyway, the first letter about the 3 world wars was penned on the 337th birthday of the Jesuits, which is the 68th prime number. And the First World War began July 28th, 1914. Date was 68 numerology. The Second World War began September 1st, 1939. Date was 68 numerology. The military conflict officially began in Ukraine with Russia February 24th, 2022. A date was 68 numerology. So many things connecting to the Catholic Church equals 68. Catholicism, mathematics, solar system, the Roman and Greek god name for the sun, Helios, is 68. The mathematics of the zodiac, the solar system, how they got all this stuff synced up with rituals and time, the sun, worshiping on Sunday. Anyway, I mean, it's just the same stuff over and over. The same numbers over and over. 1968, the year that the plan went into motion for 9/11 that led to 20 years of war, which has led up to this moment. Afghanistan's government collapsing at the end of it on August 15th, the Jesuits' birthday, their 487th birthday, the 93rd prime. Afghanistan, the plus 93 International Dialing Code, Order of Illuminati 93. This woman dead today, 93 days after the anniversary of the establishment of that theater that put out the news of her death. Alec Baldwin kills the Ukrainian woman, and again in a 93 ritual. And then they bring it back up in a big way at the time of the Ukraine attack. You know what I mean? And let's not forget, Alec Baldwin was in the Tom Clancy thriller. Tom Clancy wrote all the Jesuit CIA novels. The KGB and the CIA are both established in the same Jesuit ritual. But Tom Clancy, who I believe Tom Clancy, if I'm not mistaken, died on the anniversary of the publishing date of The Hunt for Red October, which is another big 102 thing. Hold on, let me pull up Tom Clancy in that book. Speaking of Art of War and 102 and the Jesuits, but Alec Baldwin's in The Hunt for Red October. And pay attention to the red teams that might face each other. You got the Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay, Tom Clancy died October 1st, 2013. Is that correct that he died October 1st? It might be that the news of his death broke the day after on October 2nd, but hold on. The hunt, or let me see, I got a post on this. It's been 2 or 3 years since I covered it. Hunt for Red October, let's see. Let me see. Is this it? Tom Clancy was born on the 102nd day of the year and died 172 days after his 66th birthday. Hold on. The hunt for Red October equals 102, like submarine. Of course, Art of War and World War. I mean, we're talking about the same stuff just over and over. Yeah, Tom Clancy died on the anniversary of the publishing date for Hunt for Red October. So the book actually came out October 1st, 84. Of course, Jesuits 84. The day before October 2nd. And again, he's born on the 102nd day of the year. And born in Baltimore, right up there next to the big Jesuit city in the territory named after Mary, who the Catholic Church venerates. Died at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. Of course, you know, the Johns Hopkins University and the hospital started by the Skull and Bones member, which is modeled after the Knights Templar, whose cross is in the Jesuit logo. I forgot to mention all this time that Russian invasion equals 102 as well. But, the Jesuits, you know, this is how they mock the world, though. It's like, you know, there's a lot of great writers in the world who aren't famous. You know, there's probably so many great books that have been written that hardly anyone's read. I'd say I'm in that club. And, you know, there's people that write a lot better than me. Maybe they didn't come up with a more important topic or discovery to share, but I mean, there's just so many great books out there, you know, books written 1,000 times better than mine, and they never got the light of day. And it's because they weren't promoted. How did Tom Clancy, you know, get promoted to the top? Well, it's obviously became in the club, because we see what they do with these people in the club. They die by the numbers. They die by the same numbers that they pretty much came onto the scene with every time, from Tom Clancy to the woman that we started the presentation with, Oksana Shvets. But yeah, I mean, you learn this knowledge, it's undeniable. It's undeniable. You start to see how the Simpsons know everything before it's coming, how perfectly scripted it all is. Again, the Simpsons episode about what's going on in Ukraine. It was the 487th episode. The name of the episode in the most simple cipher, 191, like Society of Jesus, like Unconquered Sun, from the 487th birthday of the Jesuits to the Ukraine conflict was 191 days later. You know. There's certain numbers the Jesuits use over and over. 191's one of them. 102's one of them. Numbers that get used again and again. Joe Biden does the 102 thing after, you know, this Ukraine thing pops off. And not to mention, we just finished the 102nd football season, and the winner of it, his fiancée, the winning coach, Sean McVay, his fiancée just happens to be Ukrainian. And, but, you know, Joe Biden, when his son died at 46, before he became number 46, the 46th president, his son died on his 191st day of his age. When the last superior general of the Jesuits died, he died on the 191st day of the current superior general's age, so on and so forth. But yeah, this Call of Duty thing, again, just the 10268. When the conflict popped off on February 22nd, that was 102 days after the superior general's birthday and the Pope's 68th day of his age. Look at this Call of Duty Warzone. Got all the numbers coded all over it. But Activision makes the game. Activision 68, like Catholicism, like mathematics, and that same cipher solar system, you know. Pay attention to the March Madness tournament going on right now. And that same cipher, basketball 68. 68 teams officially in the tournament. Sports, news, world affairs, all connected, all scripted, all ritualistic. You can prove it all day, every day. And don't forget, Taipei and Chernobyl are both 102, and they had incidents with both of those places on February 24th, which had the 68-date numerology. But yeah, they got it all planned out. Call of Duty Warzone set in a fictional Ukraine, 102 weeks before, energy costs rise up and sanctions start, and it's just, and then 2 days later, the official military campaign's underway. It's just, it's truly undeniable. And, yeah. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who likes the videos, shares the videos. Thank you to the people just for listening. Again, until this grows into the consciousness of the masses, this gang's not going to be defeated. They got people wrapped around, they got people under their thumb. I guess that's the best way to say it, and that needs to change. So, yeah, and let's not forget April 19th, Oklahoma City. If you can be there, please do. April 19th, Oklahoma City. I'll be there all day, early to late, sun up to sundown. I'll be out there all day. April 19th in Oklahoma City. I'm getting my money's worth because I got to drive 2,000 miles each direction. But, yeah, the reason that's the gathering spot in the date is because it's in the middle of the country. Something horrible happened to Oklahoma City on April 19th. It was a huge Jesuit ritual. And, again, it's the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuits. So we got to wake the world up to what's going on. I have a feeling that April 19th, they're going to have some big event planned for the world, maybe even this country, unfortunately. Hopefully the power doesn't go out everywhere that day. But, the time is now to get out the message in a big way. And if something crazy does happen that day, the good side of it will be that it'll be an example in real time where we can be waking up a city, hopefully in a big way, with people out on all sorts of corners getting out the same message. And check out my Patreon page when you get a chance, linked in the description. Give me about 2 hours or less, but I guarantee if you go there, it's almost 2 p.m. Pacific time right now, so it's almost 5 on the East Coast. So like East Coast by 7 p.m. your time. If you're in another time zone, do the math. But there will be a free PDF to download, and it's going to be, the cheat sheet for getting out the word about what we're talking about April 19th, or at least what we're planning to talk about, and realize that the information on that sheet connects to so many other events. And in all likelihood, there'll be an event just like that this year that'll fit the same pattern, because these people are super redundant. And that's why if we could just get people to listen and pay attention for even a day, they'd realize the next day, holy shit, this just happened again. So, OKC, April 19th. I saw Kayla Decode Talker's. If you guys hate me, you probably like Kayla Decode Talker. What's not to like about her? She's even coming out there. And she was saying that she won the a college, or I don't think, maybe she didn't say college, but she won a softball tournament out there. And the name of her team was the Chaos. So she's like, what if that's predicted? What if that's like some major life synchronicity and I'm going to be there and there's going to be this crazy chaos? Let's hope not, but it could be, because like we know we're living in the time right now. We're living in the time of crazy agendas waged by crazy people in the name of greed and control, and that's what has to be stopped. So, Kayla's in the chat right now. So again, for all the people who hate me, there'll be people you can like right there. And for all the people who don't want to come out just because you hate me, realize it's not like a guy, he made a video, he was like, I'm not going to Zach's event. We're not calling it Zach's event. To me, I don't see this as my event. I see it as our event. Everybody who shows up, who knows the time is now. See, what's crazy about that guy who said that, he was saying we need to come together and do something now because it's getting so bad. And what's funny is he lives in Oklahoma. I have to drive 2,000 miles to be there. And part of the reason I did it was because I was hoping he would get in, become a part of it with his 500,000 subscribers. And because, I heard him. Part of what inspired me, 2 months ago when I called for this is I said, man, I just heard him say that the time is now, too, that we got to come together and take a stand. Let's do it right in his state. He's got a big audience. He can rally the troops. He hasn't tried to rally anybody. Oh, man. Anyway, that's besides the point. whatever amount we get there will be great. The more the merrier. Energy costs going up and fuel costs, I know is going to detract from people showing up. I understand that. We all got to pay the bills, but if you can be there, you should definitely be there that day. Oklahoma City, April 19th. Understand, I'm not going to be there to party. I'm there to use my megaphone until my voice dies, and then you pick it up for me and help get out the word next. But yeah, by the memorials where we'll first meet, there's several predictions that they won't let us be there and they'll make us move. There's a park nearby, Brick something Park. Just look for the closest park that's right by the memorial. It's walking distance. It's like not even a half mile. But, and if you can't walk a half mile, that's something you also need to work on. Besides just waking up, man, you got to be able to walk a half mile. So, anyway. It's coming up. It's almost a month away. Check out the Patreon. It'll be free. You won't have to sign up for anything. But I do appreciate everybody who pledges $1. Thank you to everyone who's pledged $1 or more. But $1 a month is just so helpful. I can't believe in the 3 years I've been calling for this that there's not like a million people in the world that are like, this is worth $1 a month. We need to make this huge. So thank you to the, it's like ever since I've gotten about to 6,000, it's just been stagnant. It's been hard to get past that number for some reason. Makes me wonder. But again, thank you to everyone who has supported, and thank you to everyone who will support in the future. But again, you don't have to support. You can still download the document I'm about to put out for free. It won't cost anything. You won't have to put in an email. I just want people to have that PDF document because maybe you can't make it to Oklahoma City on April 19th, but you want to help get out the word that day in your own neighborhood. It'll give you a good chunk of information, and it's just something you should memorize. It's kind of like it'll be a little bit long for an elevator speech, but it's something you could condense into an elevator speech to get people to go, that is interesting. It's going to be tailored towards Oklahoma City because that's where we're going to be, but just realize, again, the same patterns have persisted in so many events. The same pattern that it's going to be mentioned in the documents, the same pattern that's happened right now here within Ukraine and so many other things. So, all right. We'll leave it there for now, and until next time, Truth Seeker.